feel optimistic about life after the pandemic. Plus, numerous lawsuits emerge following Houston's deadly music festival over the weekend. And in sports, Ohio men's and women's basketball return to the court tonight. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Nick Veland. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. Ohio lawmakers are ready to begin their final push to approve the state's new congressional map. Ohio's Joint Committee on Congressional Redistricting will meet tomorrow and Friday in an effort to find compromise on new U.S. district boundaries. The committee has until November 13th to agree on the new map to stay in place for the next 10 years. If they can't find common ground, state Republicans will be able to approve the map for just 4 years. Ohioans can now legally set off fireworks on certain holidays. Governor Mike DeWine signed the bill into law yesterday, which moves to close a long-exploited loophole in Ohio law, formally allowing residents to purchase fireworks in the state but not set them off. The new law limits days for setting off fireworks to several holidays, including New Year's Day, the Chinese New Year, Cinco de Mayo, Memorial Day weekend, and on days on or around the 4th of July. It also allows for local communities to restrict or ban the use of fireworks. The city of Athens could see more regulations surrounding Airbnb-type rentals in town. A permit would now be required for those wanting to have any kind of short-term rentals. If discussions at yesterday's City Council turned into an ordinance. If implemented, it would require inspections like those that are already in place with long-term rentals and put the transient guest tax in place for hotels to be collected. A public forum on the proposal is scheduled for November 22nd in Athens City Council chambers.
Hi everybody, I'm your weather forecaster Cam Kuzno, and today in Athens we will see a temperature of 55 degrees right now and some cloudier skies. Sunset tonight was at 5:20 p.m., which is a lot earlier than we are used to because of the time change, and we're seeing some calm winds right now. Across the area, we'll see temperatures in the mid to high 50s as it'll be a little bit warmer up north where there is some more cloud cover in Newark, Columbus, Cambridge, and New Lexington. And towards the south in Jackson and Ripley, we're going to see spottier cloud cover and lower temperatures since heat is escaping. And in the week ahead, clouds will be decreasing through the night and we have some cold weather incoming through the next couple of days. And we have our first snowfall on forecast. That's all I have. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Cam. Authorities are warning that Tesla vehicles may pose safety risk to first responders after a crash near Cincinnati led to a fire early yesterday morning. WCPO reports the driver of a Tesla died in a fiery crash after driving off the side of the road and hitting a boulder and 2 trees. According to firefighters who responded to the scene, Tesla's battery technology complicated efforts to put out the fire. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board says the car's manufacturer high-voltage lithium-ion batteries pose safety risks to first responders after crashes. Kentucky's Democrat governor and senior Republican senator are hopeful about a new bridge over the Ohio River, coming in an attempt to unclog traffic on the nearly 60-year-old Brent Spence Bridge. The new bridge will connect Cincinnati to northeastern Kentucky. Both Democrats and Republicans are optimistic about moving forward with the new route following the passage of President Biden's trillion-dollar infrastructure package, with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell saying that for the first time in decades, there could be a way to resolve the congestion. Coming up, the prosecution rests its case against Kyle Rittenhouse, and new details emerge surrounding Houston's deadly music festival over the weekend. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Best journalism is that which builds communities.
We're on deadline, ready to put it on the page.
I get real uptight about deadlines.
Son Tom Cullen, our reporter, lives the job.
We've always operated at the break-even point.
$7.
The newspaper not being around terrifies me.
Readers decide our future, not any branch of government.
Storm Lake, Monday, November 15th at 10 on Independent Lens.
Art is important because it shows who we were, where we came from.
Through my art, I'm creating a more powerful woman within myself.
Inspiration is everywhere.
It's important that we learn our culture, our practices.
We are tied to the land. That's our blood. That's where we come from.
The third round of the playoffs are here, and we're down to 16 teams per division, and get ready for the start of playing at neutral sites. These matchups only get better as Jackson plays Western Brown in a rematch. We'll also see Bloom Carroll play Heath. Also, don't forget to vote for our Player of the Year. Voting is available on our website right now. So turn the channel to WOUB next Friday at 11:30 p.m. or 11:30 a.m. on Saturday to catch all the action. We'll see you then.
The way home is different for everyone.
You don't believe that you're chewing on that bird.
Everything could go wrong. Oh my God, what if they shoot us out of the sky?
They put some red paint on me. You're a warrior now. I didn't expect that kind of a welcoming.
I felt so guilty, survivor's guilt.
In your imagination, you're just going to get out of the military and you're going to live happily ever after. Unfortunately, things creep out of your past.
Past weekend, new details are emerging as investigators looked into what exactly caused the deaths of 8 victims at the show. Isabel Rose.
Intense scrutiny over the deadly Astroworld Festival.
They were on the ground and basically getting trampled, and no one would pick them up.
Rapper Travis Scott and those behind promoting and planning the event under the microscope, accused of not doing enough to prevent or react to the crowd surge.
The way the barricades were set up had people trapped in, and it was a death trap.
The medical examiner's office says it could take several weeks to determine the cause of death for the 8 victims.
Many people want to shed blame, but it's really too early.
Scott says he will pay for the funeral costs of the victims. 3 people remain hospitalized, including a 9-year-old boy. His family says he's in a medically induced coma.
A 9-year-old child had a heart attack because he was being trampled so severely.
Lawsuits continue to stack up, at least 18 filed since Friday.
This should have been stopped from the very beginning, and what we know for sure is that Travis Scott continued to perform.
Scott maintains he had no idea the extent of what was happening in the crowd. Fellow performer Drake posted Monday, "My heart is broken for the families and friends of those who lost their lives and for anyone who is suffering." Meanwhile, according to the Wall Street Journal, people familiar with the investigation said investigators are looking into whether a batch of counterfeit pills, possibly laced with fentanyl, played a role in some of the deaths. Authorities have been reached out to for comment. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
Houston Police Chief Troy Finner says he met with Scott leading up to the festival, expressing concerns about the crowd size and asking for mindfulness on social media from Scott's team. After calling more than 20 witnesses in the Kyle Rittenhouse case, the prosecution rests their case and the defense begins calling their witnesses. We want to warn you, some of the details given in the court are graphic. Rittenhouse is facing several charges, including first-degree intentional homicide for the shooting deaths of 2 men during the protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin, following the police shooting of Jacob Blake. Daryl Forges has the details.
He's got an entrance wound to the front of his body.
Kyle Rittenhouse looking away as a Milwaukee medical examiner lays out the gruesome details of Joseph Rosenbaum's death.
He's got an entrance wound to the upper back.
Rittenhouse fatally shot Rosenbaum, who was chasing him, and then shot at 3 other people who confronted him. Rittenhouse also killed Anthony Huber and wounded Gage Grosskreutz. Neither of the men he killed had firearms.
What was going through your mind at this particular moment?
That I was going to die.
Testifying Monday, Grosskreutz said he was armed that night and he did pursue Rittenhouse, believing the teen was an active shooter. He says he put his hands up before Rittenhouse re-racked his weapon.
So then by re-racking the weapon, I inferred that the defendant wasn't accepting my surrender.
The defense claims the teenager was acting in self-defense.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.
Grosskreutz later testified he never intentionally pointed his gun at Rittenhouse. The 18-year-old has pleaded not guilty to 7 charges against him, including first-degree intentional homicide. I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
Rittenhouse is now expected to take the stand in the coming days as his defense team lays his case. Americans are showing more optimism as the country moves through the COVID-19 pandemic. That story is still ahead.
And we have snow on our forecast for the first time this year. Find out when we'll be affected by it during my full forecast after the break. But for now, let's have a look at some stocks of local interest.
The third round of the playoffs are here, and we're down to 16 teams per division, and get ready for the start of playing at neutral sites. These matchups only get better as Jackson plays Western Brown in a rematch. We'll also see Bloom Carroll play Heat. Also, don't forget to vote for our Player of the Year. Voting is available on our website right now. So turn the channel to WOUB next Friday at 11:30 p.m. or 11:30 a.m. on Saturday to catch all the action. We'll see you then.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains. Lively performances where old tradition meets new, here on Song of the Mountains.
On Secrets of the Dead.
The Hindenburg's horrible end has shocked the entire world.
Now, more than 80 years later, the list of failures that led to the tragedy can be revealed.
The testing was not very adequate at all.
The money that the Nazis gave had strings attached.
The use of hydrogen did make this airship a ticking time bomb.
Hindenburg's fatal flaws. On Secrets of the Dead.
Art is important because it shows who we were, where we came from.
Through my art, I'm creating a more powerful woman within myself.
Inspiration is everywhere.
It's important that we learn our culture, our practices.
We are tied to the land. That's our blood. That's where we come from.
Hi everybody, I'm your weather forecaster Cam Kuzno, and we've been enjoying some nice warmer and clearer weather recently. But if you look at our visible satellite image and out your window, you'll see that some cloud cover has begun to form over our area. This is because of a pardon me, but this is because of a stationary front that is located over our area. Thank you. This is because of a stationary front that's located over our area, which is bringing us cloudier weather. There is no precipitation associated with this front because of its distance from the low pressure system that is causing everything. Tonight in Athens, we will see clouds begin to decrease around 8 o'clock p.m. where the temperature will be 51 degrees. Temps will continue to drop steadily through 10 o'clock p.m. where it'll be 47, and winds will begin to calm as well around midnight. Tonight in Athens, the low is 43 degrees, and we will see partly cloudy skies after these clouds continue to decrease. Sunrise will be bright and early at 7:11 a.m., and winds will be going up to 3 miles an hour. Across the area tonight, we'll see low temperatures pretty stable with partly cloudy skies everywhere. It'll be 43 in Athens, and it will get a little bit warmer down south towards Ripley and Arlington. Tomorrow morning, we'll see some potential fog at 8 o'clock a.m. where the temperature will be 50 degrees. Pardon me. It'll be 50 degrees, and clouds will continue to disperse, and it will see some clearer weather around 10. The temperature will increase rapidly up to the high temperature of 65 degrees tomorrow, where we see clear weather and a 5:19 p.m. sunset. Winds will be in variable directions up to 3 miles per hour. And across the area, we'll see temperatures mainly stay stable in the mid to high 60s. It'll get a little bit warmer down south where it's clearer in Ripley and Arlington, and all the way west to Chillicothe, it'll only get up to 65 degrees. Tomorrow's surface analysis will show this low pressure system, which is going to push into the area and then up through Michigan, and then we will see some colder air come down and bring us our first snowfall of the season. If you feel like it's snowing a little bit early, you may be right. In 2020, it snowed for the first time on November 30th, and the earliest it's been since 2015 was pretty recently in 2019, but it has only happened before November 20th 3 times since 2015. Our projected date for our first snowfall is November 14th, and on our 7-day forecast, you'll see weather clear up for tomorrow, and then by Thursday, we'll have some rain enter our area. Friday and Saturday, we'll have cloudier skies, and temps will continue to decrease down into the 30s and all the way down to freezing on Saturday. Sunday night into Monday morning, we'll see our first snowfall, and by Tuesday, we will continue to see precipitation throughout the week. Tuesday, the low temperature will dip down to 28 miles per hour, and it will continue to get colder as we progress further into the winter. That's all I have for my full forecast. Back to you, Nick.
Crazy to see that snow coming so soon. Thanks, Cam. The Biden administration says it's now working to alleviate supply chain issues at U.S. ports, waterways, and freight networks. Announced yesterday, the plan includes new construction projects for coastal navigation, inland waterways, and land ports of entry. The announcement comes after the president's bipartisan infrastructure passed Congress. And according to a Senate administration official, the plan is already being implemented despite not yet being signed by the president. After 20 months of restrictions, international travelers are once again able to visit the U.S. This allows air travel for visitors from countries including Mexico, Canada, and most of Europe. Jen Sullivan takes a closer look at the requirements and impact that reopening will have on the economy.
Thank you for having us, America. Bye.
Welcome to America. The U.S. is accepting fully vaccinated foreign travelers at airports and land borders after 20 long months.
This is absolutely one of the key parts of the recovery, is restarting the international travel system on which so many of our members depend.
The American Society of Travel Advisors praising the move. International air travelers must have a proof of COVID-19 vaccination and a negative test. Land travelers also required to show proof of vaccination, but no test.
We understand there's going to be some complexities in implementing this. This is a brand new system in terms of verifying vaccination, testing requirements, etc.
The airline industry expecting a major boost. On Monday, 253 international flights were scheduled to arrive at Newark Liberty and John F. Kennedy International Airports. That's up 11% over a similar day in October, according to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, first time back since pre-pandemic.
Tourism and hospitality leaders predicting the move will supercharge their industries as they struggle to recover from coronavirus-related closures.
Restoring links with the UK, with EU, with Canada, is pretty much the most important thing that we can do in terms of helping their business.
The National Retail Federation says U.S. retailers are hoping the return of international travelers may lead to a new wave of spenders and generate more sales as the holiday season quickly approaches.
International travel to the U.S. is expected to reach around 75% of its pre-pandemic levels in the coming months. As borders continue to open, though, experts still believe it's unlikely COVID-19 will ever completely go away. But according to many, there will come a time when the virus isn't as prevalent. Mandy Gaither has more on what the end of the pandemic may look like.
COVID-19 is likely here to stay, but when cases are no longer out of control and hospitals aren't overflowing with patients, many experts predict the spread of the coronavirus will be more like a seasonal flu.
What we hope to get it is at such a low level that even though it isn't completely eliminated, it doesn't have a major impact on public health or on the way we run our lives.
With mutations like the Delta variant, no one can predict exactly how prevalent COVID-19 will be in the future, but experts say we now have the power of protection from vaccines, and federal health officials are already thinking about how to measure the end of the pandemic and how to track the coronavirus once it becomes endemic. That means a disease has a constant presence in a population but isn't affecting a significant number of people.
We would hope that as we get people more vaccinated, not only in this country, but throughout the world, that the level of viral dynamics will be so low. I can't predict for you today when that will be.
The CDC says we're still in pandemic phase. Right now, 70% of adults in the U.S. are fully vaccinated. Health officials say that vaccination rate needs to rise as new COVID-19 cases continue to fall. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
According to the CDC, it's still important to continue taking measures to prevent infection, especially as we head into winter. Those measures include wearing a mask in public indoor settings, staying home when sick, and frequently washing one's hands. That's along with receiving a COVID vaccine, which is a growing issue among Americans as the Biden administration continues to mandate it for workers. More than half of the U.S. states, including Ohio, are suing the administration over the vaccine mandate. States are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to block the mandate, saying it constitutes federal overreach and risks negatively impacting the country's workforce. But the White House remains confident in its legal authority, with the DOJ saying states and businesses haven't, quote, shown that their claimed injuries outweigh the harm of the mandate. And as that pushback continues, Americans are becoming less worried about COVID-19 in general. According to a new Axis poll, 55% of Americans now believe returning to pre-pandemic life poses little or no risk to their health. That's compared to just 40% in late August. When it comes to social activities, 61% of people say gathering with friends and family poses little to no risk. 59% say the same thing about eating at a restaurant. But 44% of people say returning to pre-pandemic life still poses a moderate to large risk.
And coming up in sports, the 2020-2021 MAC champion Ohio men's basketball team is back in action. See who they welcome to the Convocation Center to start their season when Newswatch returns. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB, as here's a look at what's coming up on your public television station.
On Secrets of the Dead.
The Hindenburg's horrible end has shocked the entire world.
Now, more than 80 years later, the list of failures that led to the tragedy can be revealed.
The testing was not very adequate at all.
The money that the Nazis gave had strings attached.
The use of hydrogen did make this airship a ticking time bomb.
Hindenburg's fatal flaws. On Secrets of the Dead.
The way home is different for everyone. You don't believe that you're truly on that bird.
Everything could go wrong. Oh my God, what if they shoot us out of the sky?
They put some red paint on me. You're a warrior now. I didn't expect that kind of a welcoming.
I felt so guilty, survivor's guilt.
In your imagination, you're just going to get out of the military and you're going to live happily ever after. And unfortunately, things creep out of your past.
The third round of the playoffs are here, and we're down to 16 teams per division, and get ready for the start of playing at neutral sites. These matchups only get better as Jackson plays Western Brown in a rematch. We'll also see Bloom Carroll play Heat. Also, don't forget to vote for our Player of the Year. Voting is available on our website right now. So turn the channel to WOUB next Friday at 11:30 p.m. or 11:30 a.m. on Saturday to catch all the action. We'll see you then.
The best journalism is that which builds communities.
We're on deadline, ready to put it on the page.
I get real uptight about deadlines. Son Tom Cohen, our reporter, lives the job.
We've always operated at the break-even point.
$7.
The newspaper not being around terrifies me.
Readers decide our future, not any branch of government.
Storm Lake, Monday, November 15th at 10 on Independent Lens.
Now, Jack, looking to tonight's slate, The Bobcats have a few games tonight.
Yeah, Nick, you're absolutely right. As you just said, a big slate of games for the Bobcats tonight. We start with football. They are on the road looking to get their third win of the regular season against Eastern Michigan. The Ohio women's basketball team, they're in action to start their season on the road against Notre Dame. If you remember, they beat Notre Dame last season. And the Ohio men's basketball team, they are also starting their season, this game at home against Belmont. So a lot of games to start their season. And there are a lot of starting returning players for the Ohio Bobcats championship team, including Ben Vanderplas, Dwight Wilson, and Ben Roderick. They'll be put in a test early this season with a difficult non-conference stretch that includes Belmont, Kentucky, and LSU. Head coach Jeff Bulge says he thinks a tough schedule makes teams better.
Schedule every high major I could, and the year we had last year was difficult to schedule. And so we wanted to try to find the right mix and match. Belmont couldn't find games, we couldn't find games, so that's how that game came to fruition. Home and home series with them. So we tried to make it as difficult as we could and challenging. Belmont, like I said, if you look at them on paper, I think they're probably the second toughest team on paper behind Kentucky.
Tip-off for tonight's game is set for 7 o'clock, and you can follow along with WOUB's Bobcat Showcase on Twitter. Now taking a trip to South Bend, the Ohio women's basketball team opens their season against Notre Dame. Ohio came away with a thrilling 86-85 victory over the ranked Fighting Irish last season. CeCe Hooks and Erica Johnson dropped 56 combined points for the Bobcats. All 5 starters return, including Hooks and Johnson, aiming for a MAC title. Tip-off for that game is scheduled for 7 o'clock. And of course, there is nothing better to continue the night than with some midweek action. The Ohio football team is in Ypsilanti to take on the Eastern Michigan Eagles. The Bobcats are coming off an exciting 35-33 victory over rival Miami last week for their second win of the regular season. The Eagles are also coming off a hard-fought victory over the Toledo Rockets. Eastern took that one 52-49 behind quarterback Ben Bryant's 354 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Head coach Tim Albin says his defense will definitely have its hands full tonight.
Particularly these last 2 games, they try to be balanced. There has been games where the throwing game has carried them, but he starts there. They've got some really good experience in the middle, center and 2 guards, like the senior and 2 juniors up the middle, and so they protect him well. Got a couple nice targets in the tight end and the receiver. Our defense will be challenged with their quarterback and how they're operating as an offense.
Kickoff is set for 8 o'clock on ESPN2. You can also follow along with live game updates and post-game recaps on WOUB's Bobcat Showcase. I'm Jack Demler, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Jack. A young pizza maker in the Netherlands is combining 2 of his passions, pizza and skateboarding. Saman flower boy Kashbari makes skateboards out of his pizza. According to him, he dabs the pizza so it doesn't go moldy, then lets it dry for a week before sealing it with chemicals. He then lets the process dry for around 10 days, allowing the pizza to harden. Skateboards aren't even the only thing he makes from pizza either. He also creates stools, tables, and structures of real pizza to act as decorations. Now, over to Cam with the weather.
Hi everybody, I'm Cam, and tomorrow in Athens we'll see a high of 65 degrees and skies will continue to be clear like it has been through the past couple of days. We'll see a sunset at 5:19 and variable winds up to 3 miles per hour. Across the area, we will see some heavier cloud cover towards the west in Chillicothe. And for our 7-day forecast, we have on Wednesday clearer weather. We will see some precipitation Thursday, and we will see snow Sunday night into Monday morning. That's all I have for weather. Back to you, Nick.
I'm Nick Veland, and that will do it for our show tonight. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Hocking Valley Bank, offering mortgage loans or refinancing on an existing home, making it easy for dreams to become a reality. Hocking Valley Bank, we know loans. Support comes from Goldsberry Wealth Strategies in Athens and Parker.